All right, so today we are going to be talking about rational functions. This was the type of function that I said we'll talk about later on, so it's now later on. And so rational functions are going to be defined as the quotient of two polynomial functions. So think about it this way, the word rational has the word ratio in it. So that means that the function is a ratio of two other polynomial functions, as long as our denominator is not equal to 0. So the parent graph that we're going to focus on in this section is going to be f of x is equal to 1 over x, or what I call the reciprocal function. So every point that we get here as I go to the right is going to be the reciprocal to get my height. So from my beginning of 0, 0, notice there isn't a point there. If I go to the right one step, my arrow just got lost. Okay, so if I go to the right one step, the reciprocal of 1 is 1. If from 0, 0, I go to the right 2 steps, the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. The reciprocal of 3 is 1/3. Going the other way, to the left one represents -1, and the reciprocal of -1 is -1. To the left 2, the reciprocal of -2 is -1/2, and the reciprocal of -3 is -1/3. If I only go to the right a half a step, notice the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2, and I have a point there. Also notice that these never seem to be touching the x or y axes, and that's because those are called asymptotes. So an asymptote is a boundary for the graph. So think of them as the center dividers on the freeway. So if you're driving on the freeway, you don't want to touch a center divider because that will scratch up your car. You don't want to cross over the center divider because you'd be on the wrong side of the freeway. And you don't want to drive away from the center divider because that would cause a crash on your own side of the freeway. So you want to drive alongside it, maybe even get closer to it, but never actually touch it. So vertical asymptotes can occur where the function is undefined based upon their denominator, as long as that part of the denominator does not cancel with the numerator. Because if it cancels with the numerator, then that's going to be where you have a hole or a point discontinuity. Horizontal asymptote is similar to talking about end behavior. So it's saying as x gets really, really large or as x gets really, really small, are you approaching the same horizontal boundary without crossing it? Okay, so if we take a look at this example, hopefully I've had some editing to do. Hopefully it doesn't sound weird. We're going to take a look at this graph. So if I set the denominator equal to 0, x minus 2 equal to 0, x equal to 2 is going to make this undefined. And so then what the book does here is they want to check to see, does that make a vertical asymptote or is it something else? So what they did was they checked what's happening as we're approaching 2 from the left. And do you see that it's getting really, really, really small or approaching negative infinity? And so what that looks like then is we do have a vertical asymptote. The quicker way to do it without doing this table though is if it doesn't cancel with the numerator, then it's a vertical asymptote. So there's two different methods for finding a horizontal asymptote. One of them is in the book, so I'm going to walk you through it, but this is not one that I will use often because method number 2 is a lot easier. So you could take this function and then divide everything in the numerator and denominator by x. So 3x over x, 1 over x over x, and 2 over x. So you've multiplied by 1 over x over 1 over x. Then if you simplify, you get 3 minus 1 over x and 1 minus 2 over x. And so the question is, as x goes to infinity, what is happening to this fraction? So as x goes to infinity, the 1 over x becomes 0, and the 2 over x becomes 0, and you're just left with the ratio of 3 over 1. So we have a horizontal asymptote at y is equal to 3. And if we graph it, sorry, my picture's in the way. So we have the vertical asymptote at x is equal to 2 and the horizontal asymptote at y equals 3. And then we can pick some points on the left or on the right to figure out where the graph would be. So this one would not follow our parent graph because we have that x in the numerator. So this is the method that I'm going to use, and this is the method that I want you to write down. So we're going to look at the degree of the numerator and the denominator. So the degree is the highest exponent of x. So if the degree in the denominator is the greater one, it's greater than the degree of the numerator, then that means that my denominator is getting bigger way faster than the numerator, and anything with a bigger x in the denominator goes to 0. So the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to 0. If the degrees are equal, then what you're going to do is take the ratio of what we call the leading coefficient. So in this case up here, do you see that x to the first, 1 is my highest degree, and here I have x to the first, so 1 is my highest degree. So since the degree of the numerator, which is 1, is equal to the degree of the denominator, which is 1, then it doesn't matter what else is in my fraction. The -1 and the 2 don't matter. And I'm just going to take the ratio of the 3 and the invisible 1 in front of the x. And so we would get a horizontal asymptote of 3 over 1. And so y equals 3 would be the horizontal asymptote. If the degree of the numerator is bigger than the degree of the denominator, then the graph doesn't have a horizontal asymptote. So this is the much more straightforward way to talk about it, and this is the way that I will talk about it. So just like I said a moment ago, the horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equal to 3 over 1 or y is equal to 3. All right, so if we take a look at this first example, it does ask me to find any vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So in this first one, do you see that if I set x plus 1 equal to 0, the function is undefined when x is equal to -1. Now, there's no way to cancel it with the 6, and so my vertical asymptote is going to be x is equal to -1. That's a vertical line. And then when we talk about the y, do you see that I can say that 6 is 6 times x to the 0 because any number to the 0 power is just 1. So this is the same as 6 times 1, which is 6. So the degree of the numerator is 0 because I didn't have an x to begin with. And the degree of the denominator is 1 because I have an x to the first here. And since the degree of the denominator is larger than the degree in the numerator, then my horizontal asymptote is going to be at y is equal to 0. So let me take you over to Desmos to show you that it's true. So this red graph here is the graph that they were asking for, which is 6 over x plus 1. So if I add in my vertical asymptote at x is equal to -1, that's this blue line. So do you see that the graph is going to get closer and closer? And I can even move it up. It gets a little closer and a little closer and a little closer, but it's never actually going to touch it. And then we said that the horizontal asymptote was going to be where y is equal to 0, which is this green line right here. So again, we get closer and closer to that line, but we never actually touch that line. So we did pick the correct asymptotes. So if we take a look at example number 2, even if I did factor the 2, that's the common factor, I would get x plus 3. Do you see that x plus 3 and 2x plus 1 wouldn't cancel? So this isn't going to help me with anything. But I do know that since 2x plus 1 doesn't cancel, then if I set it equal to 0, that's an issue with my domain. So the 2x is equal to -1, which makes x equal to -1/2, and that's going to be my vertical asymptote. Okay, so then my horizontal asymptote, each of my x's has a degree of 1. So since the degree of the numerator is the same as the degree of the denominator, we're going to take the ratio of the leading coefficients. So that means that my horizontal asymptote is going to be the line y is equal to 4 over 2. And since 4 over 2 is equal to 2, my horizontal asymptote is at y is equal to 2. So again, let's head over to Desmos and see what we're talking about. All right, so this is the graph of the function that they gave us, the 4x plus 6 over 2x plus 1. So then we said we would have a vertical asymptote at x is equal to -1/2. So if I add that in, that's this purple line right here. And again, that goes right between the two graphs, and they're going to get close but not actually touch. And then we predicted that the horizontal asymptote is going to be at y is equal to 2, and that's this black line right here. And again, it goes right in between the two graphs, and they're going to get close to it but not actually touch it. So it looks like we picked the right asymptotes. All right, so if we take a look at number 3, it's looking like an issue with my domain would occur when x minus 2 is equal to 0 or x equal to 2, and when x plus 3 is equal to 0, meaning that x is equal to -3. But something to note, if I put parentheses around this, there's multiplication in between these two. And do you see that these two cancel? So my only vertical asymptote is the one that didn't cancel. So that came from the x minus 2. Whereas this one, because it does cancel, that's going to be a hole in the graph. And so I wouldn't list that as a vertical asymptote. So then if I went to FOIL this, we would say that we would have f of x is equal to x plus 3 over, and we could do all the work if we want, but the main thing we need to know is we have an x squared. So just if you're curious, it would be plus x minus 6, but really the x squared is all I care about. So the degree of the numerator, the highest exponent of x is 1, and the degree of the denominator, the highest exponent of x is 2. And since the denominator has a higher degree than the numerator, that means that my horizontal asymptote is at y is equal to 0. So let's go to Desmos and check and see if that works out. So this looks just like one of my reciprocal functions, and that's because when I canceled those x plus 3's, I ended up with 1 over x minus 2. So if I put in my asymptote at x is equal to 2, we can see this purple line goes right between those two graphs. They're going to get close but not actually touch. Whereas over here at x is equal to negative 3, so that's right about here, do you see that that point says negative 3, comma, undefined? So you can't see it on the Desmos graph because there's so many points leading up to it of all the tiny little numbers in between. But if we were to graph this on a piece of paper, we would graph it just how, we just had it too. We would graph it just how we see it right there, where we put a little hole in that graph, okay? And so then if I add in the asymptote at y equals 0, you can see that that lit up the x-axis, and it's approaching the x-axis without actually touching the x-axis. So we did get those two asymptotes to be correct. Okay, so let's go back to that reciprocal function, this f of x is equal to 1 over x. And we're going to talk about the transformations. So do you see that by adding plus 5 inside the fraction, that's going to be a horizontal change. So we want to figure out what makes x plus 5 equal to 0, and that would be negative 5. So do you see that my asymptote at x equals 0 shifted to the left 5 units, and now the asymptotes cross at negative 5 comma 0. The rest of the graph looks exactly the same. So if we go from that corner point to the right 1, the reciprocal of 1 is 1. If we go to the right 2, the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Same thing to the left 1 is negative 1 for the reciprocal, to the left 2 would be negative 1/2, etc. So then looking at this one here, the negative is talking about reflecting with respect to the x-axis. So instead of being in the first and third quadrant like we're used to, it would reflect across the x-axis vertically, and now they're in the second and the fourth quadrant. Then this 2, that's a horizontal change. So if I take the reciprocal of it, that means that my scale factor would be 1/2. So you can see they said compressed horizontally by a scale factor of 2. So instead of going to the right 1 to go up 1, we're going to go to the right half that many steps, and instead of going up, we're going to go down 1. To the right 2 would have gone up 1/2. Now it's going to be to the right 1, and instead of going up 1/2, it's going to be down 1/2, etc. So looking at these two, my 4 is in the numerator. So technically I could write it in front of the fraction. So that's a vertical change. So I'm going to be expanded by a scale factor of 4. And then if I set x minus 3 equal to 0, that means I'm going to translate to the to the right 3. So my new asymptote is that x is equal to 3. I didn't change horizontally. And when I go to the right 1, instead of going up 1, I'm going to go up 4 times as fast and go up to 4. To the right 2, instead of going up 1/2, I'm going to go up 2, because I think they're counting by 2's here. So this one, the negative says reflect it with respect to the x-axis. The 6 says go up 6 times as fast. The x plus 2 says shift your graph to the left 2 spaces. And then the minus 4 says shift it down 2 spaces. So if you pause the video, you can see all the stuff that I just talked about.